Once upon a time, there was a girl named Matilda.
Hi, Dad.
Get in the car, Melinda.
Matilda!
Whatever.
Who was extraordinary in every way.
Pretty soon you'll be able to do any multiplication, whether it's 2 times 7
14.
or 13 times 379.
4,927.
Wow. She can multiply large sums in her head. So can a calculator.
But in a world where grown-ups make all the rules.
I'm smart. You're dumb.
I'm big and you're small.
I'm right.
And you're wrong.
In a school where the principal
In this school, I am God!
has no principles.
Yes, Miss Trunchbull. Sir, the Trunchbulls used to be in the Olympics. Shot put, javelin, hammer throw.
She will discover
Somebody's gonna teach her a lesson.
deep inside herself
You should believe in whatever power you think you have inside of you.
a secret weapon
It's with my powers.
to even the odds.
No more Miss Nice Girl.
Hey, dip face, have a carrot.
Nah, you eat it.
Now,
Cookie!
You will not leave this platform until you have consumed the entire confection.
she gives power
You can do it, Brucey!
to the powerless. Help to the helpless.
Harry, take your head off.
I can't get it off.
And disaster to those who deserve it. From the author of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach. And the unique vision
What did you do to your hair?
of director Danny DeVito comes the story of every kid's right to stand tall, no matter how small. Matilda.
Matilda, admittedly, is one of those movies that really, when I first saw it when it came out, it didn't really catch on with me. I was a 7-year-old boy back then. It was a movie that was clearly aimed at girls. At least I thought it was at first, but yeah, that's kind of why I didn't really get fully invested into this movie at first. I did eventually watch it on video. My older sister and I used to watch it a couple of times when we were growing up, and I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was anything too spectacular or anything too significant. As the years have gone on, I have slowly but surely begun to realize that this movie is actually a lot better than I gave it any credit for. One, just the style of filmmaking of Danny DeVito. This is another one of his great films that he's done as a director. He's done great things like The War of the Roses, Hoffa. He also did The Ratings Game, and he would later do Death to Smoochie and Duplex. Like, he's made some pretty unique movies. This is a very uniquely shot film, too. I mean, the cinematographer isn't Barry Sonnenfeld, but he comes pretty darn close to coming up with some of the similar shots that Barry Sonnenfeld used to have with a movie like this. And it's a visually interesting movie on that level. Plus, it's pretty faithful to the original novel, too, by Roald Dahl. It's a very solid film. The film perfectly cast Mara Wilson in this role. I'm beginning to realize that Mara Wilson had more good movies in the early part of her career than bad ones. I mean, yeah, we're going to get to the bad ones eventually, but, I mean, this movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Miracle on 34th Street remake, all pretty good movies, honestly. Danny DeVito is also a ton of fun in this, playing alongside Rhea Perlman. One of the few times where you work with your spouse and it doesn't turn out to be a terrible movie. They have a good cast overall, and Biff Davis playing the teacher is very good here. Pam Ferris playing Trunchbull in this is very good. I could have sworn someone said that she was in the musical that just came out, the musical movie. I could not find anything on that on Wikipedia, so I don't know if that's true or not. But the movie overall, the whole idea is you can take a lot of the ideas in this movie and apply it to modern times, like the ideas of using these psychokinetic abilities and seeing how you are is how you're the smart member of a family that's completely out of your range, and I mean, out of your, what am I trying to say here? Out of your normal, what am I trying to say? essentially she's kind of the black sheep of the family. She's nothing like the rest of her family, and it's kind of interesting to see that play out in this way. And you could definitely take a lot of those elements, along with some other elements of the film as well, and apply it to modern civilization, like the modern satire. In a way, it's kind of a precursor to some. It's kind of satirical compared to what it is to what's going on now in modern in the time we're living in now. You could definitely take a lot from that. I think the movie overall really is a ton of fun. I think it's a film that it slowly but surely begins to come along as you get older. You get older to fully realize what this movie is about, what this movie is trying to tell you. And I think you can definitely I think a lot of people can relate to this movie a lot, and it's no wonder why you see this on TV more than I think some other movies of the past is of the 1990s. Like, you see this on Freeform every couple of months. Like, every couple of months they'll play it on TV. It's become a staple of television. Maybe that's why they just did the musical version of this in a movie. It's a really good film. It's a really enjoyable film. It's a film that I think has definitely grown on me in the years since it's come out, and I can fully see why it has had the cult following that it's had over the years. It's a really enjoyable film. I highly recommend checking it out. Matilda, a great film. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman in Chain Reaction.
Cold War may be over, but we now find ourselves embroiled in another struggle, an international industrial struggle, a struggle we dare not lose.
In a split second,
Did you computer model your work?
No, I didn't. I was too busy building it.
Eddie Kasanovich will be left with the one thing no one else possesses.
Cheap, abundant energy, water to hydrogen.
We'd be interested in this technology.
A secret
Who wouldn't?
the rest of the world would kill for.
There are many threats to our way of life. Not all of them wear uniforms. You run, you have every gun-carrying idiot in the country looking for you. Warrants have been issued for Edward Kasalovich. I got him.
Keanu Reeves,
Someone's setting us up.
Morgan Freeman,
You said you had it under control. I did.
every action
We can't. I gotta go. We'll come to you. Eddie!
has an equal
We're watching everything.
I'm being frank.
How did we end up here?
and opposite
It's classified. Your position is non-negotiable.
We didn't do anything.
reaction.
Your experiment just got a mind of its own.
Chain reaction.
Who are you?
I'm your friend, Eddie.
Another one of those movies that have a lot of big names on it. I mean, you have Keanu Reeves, you have Morgan Freeman, you also see Rachel Weisz in there, Fred Ward, Kevin Dunn, Brian Cox. It's directed by the guy that did The Fugitive, and he did Under Siege, two of the best action movies of the decade, and this movie just doesn't really carry that same mustard that I think they wanted it to. And even Keanu Reeves himself has admitted that this is a film that was a stinker right from the get-go. They changed the script around, and the story overall doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's a film that I think has some pretty good special effects for the time, and yeah, the special effects are nice in this, but it doesn't really carry the movie over. Like, Keanu Reeves was trying his best here, so was Morgan Freeman, but I really think a rewriting of this script could have easily made this a much better film. It's a pretty substandard thriller. Like, there's nothing really engaging about it. There's nothing really that intense about it. There's nothing about this that makes you say, wow, they actually did something unique and clever here. There's none of that in this movie, and it's a shame because there's potential with the talent that's on board here, and you've got a really solid director to make this work, and it's just nothing there to show for it. It's a film that has so much potential, but it just can't stick the landing in the end. The script is just really not that good. It's relying heavily on the visual effects to keep you invested, and it just can't really do the trick. It's a film that just really doesn't work on the level that it is right now. A rewrite could have easily helped this movie a lot better, but as it is, yeah, it's a pretty bad movie. So that's Chain Reaction. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Fat Beach.
And a lot of what? Benny and Durrell thought it was time for a change. Quit your job, let's march to the beach today. But they had one problem.
How are we gonna get there?
No way, Durrell! Now they're on their way.
You got any drugs on you?
Just a video camera. Yeah, real good one, too. To the freshest place around. We're about to have some fun under the sun. Got a little thinner here. What you think? Fat Beach. Thinner than an elephant. Rated R. Starts August 2nd at a theater near you.
From the creator of Entourage, and I'm not even joking, this is the director of this is Doug Ellen, who later went on to create Entourage, and his first movie he ever did was considered to be one of the greatest and perhaps only hip-hop beach movies of all time, according to one quote that I see here on Wikipedia. I've never even heard of this movie before, so that's pretty much going to tell you everything I know about this. I literally know nothing about this movie. I know it's got Jermaine Hopkins and Brian Hooks in the leads. Coolio is in here as well, so is Tiny Lister. And that's really all I got for you, because I know nothing about this movie. I didn't even know this movie even existed until I saw the date for it, but it's apparently got its fan base. Chris Rock is a big fan of it, so is Kendrick Lamar. It's got a cult following, so I don't know. Maybe it was just something that I just never knew about. But, well, it is something I never knew about, so I really can't say if it's good or not. But, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know about this one. I literally knew nothing about it until I actually looked at the list for this week and saw that film there. I wish I had some more for you, but that's pretty much all I got for this one. So that's Fat Beach. Let's take a look at a much different movie, and that is Gwyneth Paltrow starring in Emma.
In the English countryside, amid great beauty and privilege, a young woman named Emma devoted herself to one task.
Mr. Elton will be the next person to benefit from my help.
The business of meddling and matchmaking.
Mr. Elton, may I present Miss Smith?
Miss Smith? She's a very good sort of girl, and I'm sure there are men who would not object to... Everybody has their level.
Now keep down, Emma.
But how many alliances can she create?
Mr. Knightley warned me.
Better be without sense than as pliant as you do.
Before disaster
Oh, dear.
Good God.
catches up with her.
I sought to bring two people together, and I shall never do it again.
Emma, with this kind of past,
I do so wonder, Miss Woodhouse, that you are not married.
how can she choose her future?
I love John.
Lovely. Mr. Frank Churchill
Is in love with you.
Is that true?
I hate John.
I have developed certain feelings for someone of a most tender and devoted nature.
Lovely, lovely. The most incomprehensible thing in the world to a man is a woman who rejects his offer of marriage. Something has happened to the wheel and I cannot move.
Oh, you'll just have to live here then. Bye-bye.
I have something to tell you which I'm afraid you will not like. But, Mr. Churchill, good God.
Miramax Films is proud to present Gwyneth Paltrow, Toni Collette, Jeremy Northam, Ewan McGregor, Greta Scacchi, and Polly Walker in Jane Austen's timeless comedy, Emma.
Try not to kill my dogs.
So this is, of course, based off of Jane Austen's best-selling novel of the same name, Emma. It's actually one of two adaptations we've gotten over the past 25 years. The other one was the Anya Taylor-Joy one that actually came out just before the pandemic hit in 2020. And this one, of course, features Gwyneth Paltrow as Emma Woodhouse, and the cast it also includes Alan Cumming, Toni Collette, Ewan McGregor, Jeremy Northam, Greta Scacchi, Polly Walker. And I just watched this one recently because I just got it with a two-film set that includes this and Clueless. And it's funny because it's listed as original and remake, because Clueless is essentially a remake of the original Jane Austen story of Emma, but this movie actually came out a year after Clueless did, so take that for what you will. But either way, this is still a pretty entertaining movie, and the other one, the Anya Taylor-Joy one, is actually pretty good too. But this is a very good movie. It's a very good period comedy that, despite being a period piece, it still holds up pretty well for modern times. Like, it's a story that works very well here. You got a great cast with Paltrow in the leading role here. The comedy overall is very solid. It's a good love story. It makes the most of the source material by Jane Austen, and it's just a very solid, enjoyable film. It's a film that keeps up with the good pace. It never feels like it's boring you or it's just too smart for your own good. They know exactly what they need to do to sell you on this movie, and it does a pretty good job here. You got to give a lot of credit to Douglas McGrath, the director of this, for making an adaptation that doesn't feel like it's talking down to you. It's a film you can easily follow along, and you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. A great cast overall, Really solid story. Does a very good job of staying true to the original source material. It's a very good film. I mean, I can't recommend this one enough. If you haven't seen Emma, I'd say definitely check it out. So that is Emma. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last movie that we have here, and that is Cyclo. Of course, I had to stop it there because Radiohead's Creep was about to come on. Literally, that's in the trailers for this movie, and I think it's actually in the movie for this. But this is Cyclo. This is a Vietnamese film. It's following the hard lives of labor force in the early 1990s, Ho Chi Minh City, and how people come under the influence of crime. It's considered hard to understand because of abstract and wordless communication. And I'm literally reading this off Wikipedia because I've never seen this movie, nor do I really know a whole lot about it, but the movie is seen by one person, Janet Maslin, asserted that as the style, which is typical of this film's director, Tran Anh Un, that makes the movie more memorable and successful. And you saw it won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, and I wish I had more to tell you, but that's pretty much everything I know about this particular film. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know if it's anything too spectacular, but I know it has the song Creep in it from Radiohead. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's just me filling some time here. So, yeah. That's all I know about Cyclo.
Nature has given us all an internal clock. Your son's seems to be ticking faster than usual.
But he's healthy.
Absolutely. However, his cells are developing at 4 times the normal rate. If this continues throughout his life, by the time he reaches age 10, he could appear to be an ordinary, full-grown, 40-year-old man.
I'm telling you, he's our age, but he looks 40.
Jack Powell is a grown-up on the outside.
Whiny and squeak.
But on the inside...
Marco!
Oh, no. He's all boy.
Don't touch me!
See the Jack should start going to public schools. I don't think he can fit in.
Just can't sleep out of scare, Jane. Can I sleep in here? Yeah, of course, buddy.
Are you sure he's ready for this?
The rest of the world I'm worried about.
Dad. Ow! Dad!
Now, he's about to embark on the biggest adventure of his life.
Everybody, this is Jack Powell.
The 5th grade.
Whoa, no way! Jeez, he looks like my dad. Look at your hairy arms and your eyebrows. Yeah, he has receding hairline. How old are you?
I'm 10.
You're either not 10 or you're a freak.
I'm not a freak. You're a freak, 4 eyes.
He's 10.
Hey, big guy, you shoot hoops?
Me?
No, the 40-year-old kid behind you.
My mother's coming in to meet the principal today.
So?
Well, you're going to be the principal. So tell me, what happened to Principal McGee?
Yeah, he had the squirts. He had the diarrhea.
Oh, boy, that's more than I needed to know.
You know, the maximum weight up here is 150 pounds. I don't think this is a good idea.
If you want to have lunch or something, we can talk about Louie and what do you think?
Bad for him. Hollywood Pictures presents Robin Williams
Unstoppable!
in the story of a boy.
Did Jack come out and play?
He made every moment count.
When I grow up, I want to be like the big guy. My best friend, Jack.
Okay, listen, Dad, I gotta go. No, I really gotta go. Number 1.
Jack. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
So, as you can see here, Robin Williams is playing a 10-year-old boy in a 40-year-old man's body. Now, this is based off of an actual disease called Werner syndrome, and Werner syndrome is basically a form of progeria, which is a disease that's it doesn't really make you look 40, and it's actually deadly usually around adolescence. You lose your hair, you're very short, you're like an elderly person, it's a disease that is nothing like the one seen in this movie, and that's one of the many things I could say that's definitely wrong about this movie, is that they can't even get this disease right. And Robin Williams himself doesn't even act like a legitimate 10-year-old in this movie. I mean, he really does not. Like, there could be some good ideas here with this storyline. There could be some interesting things you could tell with a story like this. I mean, but we've seen this done much. We've seen a story similar to this done much better in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which basically did it the opposite way around, where Brad Pitt's character was born as an old man, and as he gets older, he regresses down to a baby. That worked. That worked because of a great script. That worked because of a great concept. This does not. And I love Robin Williams, and I love Francis Ford Coppola, and I love most of the people in this movie, but man, you guys missed the mark on this big time. Like, Francis Ford Coppola, I can't believe he actually said yes to this. And not only that, one of the writers of this movie actually went on to go on to direct the Purge franchise. James DeMonaco was one of the writers on this. And Francis Ford Coppola, I mean, it wasn't like his career was at a tailspin at this point. I mean, he had just done Bram Stoker's Dracula and The Godfather Part 3, which were not the biggest hits, but they weren't massive failures. But this movie is just so... It's just so unbelievably bad. I mean, it's a really bad movie. Like, it's a film that I saw as a kid. As a kid, I didn't mind it, but then again, I was only 7 years old. I really didn't know what exactly a good movie and a bad movie really were at that point. I remember seeing this, I think I actually remember seeing this in the theaters. I think it was part of a sneak preview event that they had for this movie. We went to go see it, and I remember liking it as a kid, but as I've grown up, I've realized that, yeah, this movie really does not work as much as they wanted to. Like, no matter what, yeah, like, Robin Williams can be very good in a lot of movies, but this is one of those ones where the whole thing just feels so discombobulated. I mean, Robin Williams, he's trying his best here. God bless him for it, but it's just too much for him to handle with this. It's not helped by the fact that the script is pretty much all over the place. There's many scenes in this movie that add nothing to the main plot of the story. It's just stuff to waste time. It's just stuff to do, there's a whole subplot towards the end of the film where there's a part where Jack basically ends up having a heart attack and goes to the hospital, and he's basically being told that he has a severe strain, which could have been a rare form of anemia, which is a rare disease, basically chest pains, pressure, that type of stuff, and that because of his Werner syndrome, his internal clock is starting to run out. So basically, his parents basically say, we got to drop you out of school, which basically tells them that, he gets upset, he goes out to find the teacher, not the teacher, the kid of the, no, I'm going to remember this, the mother of one of the kids, played by Fran Drescher, who he had an interaction with early on, and there's this whole sequence that's just absolutely pointless, because you could have easily taken that out of the story and it would have had no impact on what happens after that. Like, basically, he's stuck in somewhat of a depression, and basically that day comes when he realizes that, hey, I'm ready to go back. Like, and basically that whole segment I was talking about could have easily been knocked out, and we could have just went from his parents saying, we'll drop you out of school, to him going into that deep depression of the fact that he can't be at school. But no, let's add in that pointless sequence so we can have more of Fran Drescher in this movie, which I'm not against at all. I like Fran Drescher. I think she's very funny, but man, like, that whole sequence is just absolutely pointless in this movie altogether. And like, it also doesn't help that the music in this movie is just so off on so many levels. This is Michael Kamen. This is the guy that did the Die Hard music. Like, this is the guy who's done so many great musical scores in his career, and the serious moments in this movie are filled with this wacky, cartoonish music that just feels so out of place. I have no idea what the hell they were thinking when they said to put this music in some of these critical scenes. It's just like, it's a mess on so many levels, and the casting in here is actually not that bad. You have a really good cast in here. You know, I mentioned Robin Williams. I mentioned Fran Drescher, Diane Lane playing his mother, Jennifer Lopez, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby has a good role in this movie. There are other notable names in here. Brian Kerwin playing his dad. I mean, like, it's not a bad idea but you need really good screenwriters to make this work, and a good director too. But this just feels like it was just something that was just so discombobulated on so many levels, and just feels like they're forcing an Oscar. This feels like another one of those Oscar baitish movies, because Robin Williams hadn't won an Oscar up to this point. You got Robin Williams working for Francis Ford Coppola. There's a chance that if they work their magic together, this could actually lead to something, and it really doesn't. Like, it really, when you look at this movie, going back to it, it's just like, it's just a mess on so many levels. It's a movie that just didn't work, and it doesn't work because the writing is not that great. The storytelling isn't all that great. The comedy isn't all that good. The dramatic moments are not that good. The music is so off-key. It's just a mess of a movie, man. And I love Robin Williams, and I think he's one of the greatest people that we've ever entertainers of our lifetime. But he's made a lot of bad movies, and this is definitely one of those really bad movies that I just can't recommend it. I mean, even for nostalgic sake, it's a film that's just not that enjoyable. It's just a film that it's lackluster. It's a film that just fails on nearly almost every single level. And it really, when you look at it, you really don't know if a good rewrite could actually fix this or not. But that's just my thoughts on it. That's Jack. That's the big movie that came out, and it's just a disaster on so many levels. It's not a good film at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is the sequel to Escape from New York, with Kurt Russell returning as Snake Plissken, John Carpenter's Escape from L.A.
Welcome to the theater. For everyone's enjoyment, we'd like to remind you of the following rules. No talking. No smoking. No littering. No red meat. No freedom of religion. And remember, all marriages must be approved by the Department of Health. Failure to obey these rules will result in immediate loss of citizenship and deportation to the island of Los Angeles. Enjoy the show.
The rules are really beginning to annoy me.
We ran a psycho profile on him using a database of 5 million sociopathic personalities. He hit the bottom of the curve.
Catches on quick, doesn't she?
Sal loves a winner.
Let's say we play a little Bangkok rules. Nobody draws until this hits the ground. You ready? Draw. You got a problem with that?
So, when it comes to sequels that come out after a long period of time in between films, let me put it this way. I have a criteria with sequels. Usually the best sequels that we usually get come between maybe 2 to 5 years, depending on what the movie is, depending on how the lasting longevity of it is after the movie's come out. Like, for example, like there's been rare examples where we've gotten sequels that have actually been better than the original film long after the original film came out. I mean, we just had Top Gun Maverick, which was a great film. Mad Max Fury Road, which was a great film. Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4 each came out nearly 10 years after each other, and Toy Story 3 had come out nearly 11 years after, almost 12 years after the original, the second film did, and that was a great film too. I mean, it can be done, but you know, it doesn't always happen all the time. This one is, of course, coming out 15 years after the original Escape from New York did, and I won't say that it's a bad movie, but it's definitely not. It wasn't worth the hype building it up for the last 15 years to have Kurt Russell come back, and you get this movie here. And I mean, really, it just doesn't have that lasting longevity that Escape from New York had. It's not that it's a bad movie per se. There are still some really good ideas in it. And Kurt Russell still gets some pretty good moments as Snake Plissken in here, but it feels like Snake himself has just become kind of a retread of the 90s action here. It was like in that trailer, he's talking so softly and yet so threatening at the same time. Like we've seen so many movies where action stars have talked that same way and done it so much better. And to me, I think that's where the part of the movie kind of falls off a bit. Some of the action sequences in here are still very nicely done. There are still some good moments in here, but when you compare it to the original Escape from New York, that movie just works so much better. But this feels like a movie that it was basically trying to satirize the genre while also exploiting it at the same time, which it could have been something pretty amazing, but it really isn't when it's all said and done. It's a film that is such a mixed bag. It's not a bad movie per se, but it's not a great film either. Like, you never really get the full sense that this was what we've been waiting for since the last movie came out. And this is the end result of it. We get a sequel that's okay, but definitely could have been a whole lot better. Maybe if this had come out a couple of years after Escape from New York, then maybe it could have been something really special, but as it is, it's definitely lackluster compared to the original film. It has its moments, but not enough for really me to say to recommend it. I would only say maybe for a one-time watch, it's probably worth it. But other than that, though, Escape from LA really isn't all that great of a film. So that's Escape from LA. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Basquiat.
He was a struggling young artist.
How long do you think it takes to get famous? 4 years? 6 to get rich?
He lived on the streets.
Look like you could use a scrub.
I'm clean. Then you're gonna have to hang out with famous people. You know? Make friends with the right blonde people. Like Andy Warhol.
Your best ignorant art? Timber's piece?
Gee, ignorant art? Oh, that sounds good, this movie. Gee, it didn't work very much on these. I can give you like 5.
You don't even work on your stuff.
So this is, of course, a film about the legendary artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, who's here played by Jeffrey Wright. And the film basically follows his story from growing up from his roots in Brooklyn to becoming the unique artist that he eventually became. And you see a lot of notable names in this movie, including David Bowie playing Andy Warhol, Gary Oldman playing Julian Schnabel, who's the director of this movie. This is actually the first time an American painted film had been written and directed by another artist, and Gary Oldman plays him in the movie here. You have Michael Wincott, Dennis Hopper, Parker Posey, Christopher Walken, Willem Dafoe, Claire Forlani, Courtney Love, Tatum O'Neal, Benicio del Toro. It's got some pretty interesting names in here, a really good cast overall here. As far as the movie itself goes, I don't really know too much about it. I've never seen it before. I will say, though, that this guy has directed another movie I really liked, Diving Bell and the Butterfly. He also did Mural. 2 very solid films, so I wouldn't be surprised if this actually ended up being pretty good. I mean, the critical reviews for it are pretty good, too, so it could be pretty interesting. I don't really know too much about the artist himself, either, so yeah, I really don't know if this movie is actually that good or not, but it's something I definitely would want to check out one day if I ever find it somewhere. So that's Basquiat. Let's go take a look at our last movie here, and that is Flirt.
What time's your flight?
7.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me if there's a future for me and you.
A future, huh?
Yes.
How can I answer that?
Yes or no.
How are you, Bill?
Mind if I sit down?
No, why should I?
So you got a story here that takes place in New York, Berlin, and Tokyo. Each segment uses the same dialogue in here. You have a story that takes place in New York where you have this one guy struggling to decide whether he has a future with this girl, played again by Parker Posey, while attempting to restrain an angry husband of a woman who thinks he might be in love with, and for a woman he thinks he might be in love with. In Berlin, Dwight has a similar experience, and the events that befall Miho in Tokyo take a more dramatic turn. So you basically have 3 different stories that have the same dialogue, but all have different, unique turns at how they present the story. That's really all I know about this movie. Like I said, Parker Posey's in here, Martin Donovan, Bill Sage, director Hal Hartley, Harold Penrose Jr. from Lost, Maria Schrader, Michael Imperioli. It has some notable names in here, but that's really all I know about this film. It's a film that could have some interesting promise to it, especially with the concept being the same segments, each using the same dialogue. And but other than that, though, that's really all I know about this one. So that's another quick one on that one, Flirt.
You're a feminist.
No one's ever saddled me with that one.
Well, you might try being saddled sometime. Smell of leather, sting of a web.
From the creator of Bull Durham and White Men Can't Jump.
You got it bad, huh?
Something about that chick. From the moment I first saw you, I knew I was through with bar girls and strippers and motorcycle chicks.
What?
Stunned, huh?
Kevin Costner, Rene Russo.
Your brain was getting in the way.
It's hardly ever been the case.
Tin Cup, rated R. Starts Friday, August 16th.
And that's return to form for Ron Shelton after he'd done Cobb. Before that, he had done Bull Durham and White Men Can't Jump, and then his career kind of took a little bit of a dive with Cobb, and then comes back with this, which is a fun, lighthearted romantic comedy, a fun, lighthearted sports comedy, too. But it's not one that I would say is definitely one of his best works. I mean, it's no Bull Durham, it's no White Man Can't Jump, but it's a nice little surprise. It's a nice little comedy that delivers everything you can ask for and then some. You got a really strong cast in this movie. Kevin Costner, Rene Russo. You see Cheech Marin in there as well as Don Johnson. A bunch of golfers in this movie. A bunch of cameos in this film. It's a fun little golf film. It doesn't do anything that really is amazing or anything too spectacular, but it's a breezy, lighthearted comedy. It's a fun little film that shows off what Kevin Costner, his range as an actor can really be, and he has some good chemistry with Rene Russo, and the writing overall is very solid. It doesn't have that sharp, witty satirical element to it that something like Bull Durham and White Men Can't Jump have, but it does more than enough to serve as a satisfyingly enjoyable film. I really enjoyed this film a whole lot. It's not one of his best films as a filmmaker, but it certainly is a nice return for Ron Shelton after what happened with Cobb and his attempt to try to do something a little bit differently that didn't actually end up working out as well here. It works well enough here to recommend it. I think it is a very solid film. It doesn't do anything too crazy or anything too spectacular, but what it does is more than enough to satisfy it as an enjoyable movie. If you like these type of films, you'll definitely enjoy Tin Cup a lot. So that's Tin Cup. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes in Tony Scott's The Fan.
They come to worship a superstar, to brush against the glamour, and bask in the glow. They are the nameless, the faceless, and they are forever loyal. But what happens when the adulation becomes obsession and the devotion becomes deadly? Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes. The Fan.
You know, the interesting thing is that 15 years prior to this movie coming out, there actually was another movie called The Fan, very similar to this movie, except with a notable difference being in the story that instead of it being a sports athlete being harassed by a crazed fan, it was a Hollywood actress being harassed by a crazed fan, the crazed fan being played by Michael Biehn, and the actress being played by Lauren Bacall. And it's pretty much, it almost kind of follows a little bit of the similar pattern to it. Almost you could say that this movie was kind of taking from that. But then again, this is based off of a novel of the same name. But the big difference between that Fan is that that movie is a much better film overall. I think the performances in the 81 Fan work a whole lot better than they do in this movie here. You never really buy Robert De Niro as a legitimate threat in this movie. You never really buy his storyline in this film. And I really don't think that's... And I think that's one of the major problems with the film. I think really that's one of the major flaws of it, because you can't really buy the performances in here. I mean, Robert De Niro can play menacing. We've seen it do it well time and time again. But in here, it just feels like he's kind of forcing himself into the role here. And Wesley Snipes himself, too, really doesn't feel like he's fully committed to the role here. Like, you really never get a sense that he really wants to be a part of this movie. And I don't know. Tony Scott, coming off of Crimson Tide, which is a phenomenal film, I think he brings a little too much of a stylized vision into this, and I think it really kind of digs itself, because most of the time in this film, you really can't tell what the hell's going on because it's way too dark. There's not enough lighting in there. You really can't get a good grasp of what's going on because sometimes you can barely see what the hell's going on. And there's just nothing about the movie that really makes it stand out on its own. I feel like there was so much more potential that they could have had with this, but it never really lives up to what it could really be with the talent that they have on board here, with the director that they have here. Everything about this movie is so primed and ready to be something amazing, and when you watch the film, you really don't get a sense of anything like that. It's a film that really does not deliver everything it promises, and this is a disappointment to say the least. I mean, if you're looking for a better film like The Fan, with the title of The Fan, just go watch the 81 film with Lauren Bacall and Michael Biehn. But other than that, though, this Fan in particular, so much potential to be something really good, but it just doesn't deliver. You can't buy the performances. It's too dark at times, like in terms of the cinematography. It's not. You can't really see what the hell's going on, and the mystery is not even all that interesting or exciting. It's a really lackluster type of a film. It's a real disappointment to say the least. So with that said, on to the next movie, and that is Alaska.
Dad is still alive. He would survive out there, and if you think I'm just going to leave him, you're wrong.
Castle Rock Entertainment invites you to journey into the wild. Soar into excitement. And climb new heights of adventure.
Does it? Never give up. Never.
Alaska.
Yeah, pay no attention to the fact that the kid in this movie is a pain in the ass, and also that the villain in this movie is not really all that intimidating, and that it gets really, really dark at times because, man, that trailer is completely misleading to what actually happens in the movie. And I wasn't kidding around. Vincent Kartheiser, who we all know from Mad Men nowadays, he's a pain in the ass in this movie. Like, there's no redeemable factors to this character at all in this movie. Like, you hate him the moment he comes on screen. And the fact that you just hate him all throughout the film. There is nothing likable about this character whatsoever. Thora Birch, she's doing a pretty good job in here. Charlton Heston playing the villain in here. I mean, it's not a good villain at all. And like this feels like a film that you expect a whole lot better from Heston, and especially when you consider that this is directed by his son, and he really is not that good in here. You're mostly. The only thing you really like about this person is that the fact that the way he says the word bear in this movie, it's just like that's the only real thing you take away from it. And like I said before, this thing gets dark at times. Like there's moments where this little baby polar bear is next to his mother, and then you realize that the mother's been killed, and this is just somebody wearing her fur and all that. It's just like there's nothing interesting about. There's nothing great about that at all, or funny, or it's just really disturbing. This is a really messed up movie when you really think about it, and that trailer really is misleading you on so many levels. It's just like this is not a good movie. This is a terrible, terrible movie. This is a really horrible film that just wants to paint itself as the next great family adventure film, a la Disney, like what they did back in the olden days. But no. It's anything but that, and if you've seen the movie, you definitely know what the hell I'm talking about. This is not a good film at all. Alaska. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, that a film that's well intended to be dark and gritty and sometimes uncomfortable for a good reason. It's Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood. I don't know what the hell that intro was about either, but here's the movie.
From a secret grave in a distant land, Hell's Madam has risen again. And now she's back in business at the Bordello of Blood. Where customers go in.
Evening, boys.
This is deep. But they don't come out.
Mr. Gutman, have you found my brother yet?
He and a friend of his evidently went to a local brothel.
Are you ready?
Welcome to a new chapter in terror.
Now she'll know what's eating him. She is.
Lucy, I'm home.
Let's party.
I am Mexican for lunch.
I'm going to take you for a test ride.
You know, you make it sound really enticing.
From Universal Pictures.
It's holy water, man.
Dennis Miller.
You are out of here. Ching.
Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood.
Looking cool tonight, man. You must know Mickey Rourke, huh?
Evil bites.
Go for it.
Yeah, I hope you like Dennis Miller's puns in this movie because they're all over the place. And I like Dennis Miller, but man, if I want to hear puns in a Tales from the Crypt movie, you better put the Crypt Keeper back up on screen. I mean, man, like that trailer, that is nothing but, that is all that Dennis Miller does in this movie. And like I said, I like Dennis Miller, but man, there are so many moments in this movie where he's just shouting out nothing but puns, and it's just not, it's not funny at all. And I like this movie. I really do like this film. I do like that it does carry a lot of the same elements that I really liked about Demon Knight. I do like a lot of the other elements to the film. I think everybody else in the film is really good. Erica Eleniak is pretty good in here. You got Chris Sarandon and Corey Feldman, Angie Everhart playing the leader of the Bordello. I mean, there is a lot of good stuff in this movie that does work, but you really have to just eke through some of the really bad puns that Dennis Miller is forced to do in this film. Like, I really can't believe that he was actually given the opportunity to do all that, and at least let him do something a little bit funnier than what he has to do in this film. But yeah, man, the movie is still a ton of fun. It's definitely no Demon Knight. There aren't any performances that come close to some of the over-the-top performances that, like there's no Billy Zane in this movie. Although Angie Everhart does try her best in here to have some of those moments in here. But like I said, she's okay. She's pretty good in the film. Everybody else in this movie is pretty fun to watch. You do have to go through some really bad moments with Dennis Miller, and yeah, it's a film that's definitely not Demon Knight, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it out to be. I think it is. I think it still delivers just enough to really enjoy it for what it is. Like, there are still a lot of fun elements to it. Like I said, it's no Demon Knight, but it definitely is I think it is still a solidly entertaining film. It's a guilty pleasure. You could say it's a guilty pleasure film, honestly. At least in my opinion, it is. So, that's Bordello of Blood. Let's take a look at our next movie, and that is Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Pollak in House Arrest.
Parents have problems.
My parents are getting separated.
Hang on, Dad.
You ground them.
What? You guys are going to stay down there a while.
Now everyone's going to do it.
You take your dad, I'll take mine.
Till their parents learn a lesson.
This is great.
Okay, kids, come out with your hands up.
House Arrest.
It's Mom.
Later. Rated PG. Starts Wednesday, August 7th.
Yeah, only in the 90s can you actually get away with this and think that this is a good idea. Yeah, try doing this nowadays. You would not. If the kids would have been arrested, they would have been sent to jail, and there would have been lawsuits after this, or just so many other things, man. But this is a terrible movie, man. This is another one of those movies, kind of like Alaska, that's trying to sell itself as this amazing film or this really important film, and it's anything but that. It doesn't go to the insane levels that Alaska does to try to get some entertainment value, but everybody in this movie is completely wasted in here. There's nothing about these performances that really work at all. You have too good of a cast in here. Pollak, Curtis, Christopher McDonald, Wallace Shawn, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jennifer Tilly, Ray Walston, Daniel Roebuck, Colin Camp, Ben Stein. I mean, there's a lot of good talent in here, but it just doesn't feel like a good film that was really intended to be something more than just something to kill some time, put it in theaters so kids can watch it, and it'll shut the kids up for a little bit. It's a very bad film. It's not a clever film at all. It's not an enjoyable film whatsoever. It's a really bad film. I really don't think I have any more to say about this movie. It's a film that just doesn't work. It's not funny. It's not clever. It doesn't really have a good message around it. It doesn't really feel like it's doing anything amazing or anything. It just doesn't work as a movie. It's not enjoyable at all. It's a boring film. Need I say more? It's House Arrest. So, on to the last movie here. That is Small Faces.
Sunny, well, thank you for the sunshine, okay. Thank you for the love you brought my way. You give to me your all in all. Now I feel 10 feet tall.
I've never seen a naked woman before.
So as you see, you're following three teenage brothers who are growing up with their mother in Glasgow in 1968. Events which will have consequences for all concerned start to spiral out of control when Lex accidentally shoots Malky, the leader of the Garricide Tong Street gang, with an air gun. And this is pretty much all I know about the film. I've never seen it before. I don't really know too much about it, but I'm guessing it's something kind of like the Scottish. It's the Scottish equivalent of something like The Warriors, except nowhere near as dark or as intense. But I've seen a couple clips from this, and it does look pretty. It does look pretty intense, but it's not something I really want to see. It's nothing that really piques my interest overall. It just kind of feels like a film that could have something good about it, but at least to me, it's nothing that I really want to see at this point. So, I mean, it could be good, but I just have no interest in seeing it. So, that's another quick one. Can't really say too much more about that one. Small Faces.
On Dr. Moreau's island, there are 3 rules. Don't drink the water. Don't disturb the natives. And whatever you do, don't feed the animals. New Line Cinema presents the science fiction event of the summer. Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, David Thewlis. The Island of Dr. Moreau, directed by John Frankenheimer, rated PG-13. Now playing.
I honestly could delve into the huge production history behind this movie, but we'd be here for 3.5 hours going through that. So to basically sum it up, this was originally supposed to be directed by Richard Stanley. Richard Stanley was supposed to direct the film. Bruce Willis was originally supposed to play the character played by Val Kilmer in this movie, but he dropped out because of divorce procedures from Demi Moore at the time. And Willis was replaced by Kilmer, who was also had divorce papers put on him, and he had anger issues on the set. And then Rob Morrow quit the film because of script rewrites. Marlon Brando's role in the film was basically shortened because his daughter killed herself, I should say, leaving the production in limbo, and Marlon Brando pretty much just took control of the movie, and the director was fired from the film. They brought in Frankenheimer to try to save it. The film was delayed because of a hurricane. Just so many problems behind the scenes. It's been well documented in the documentary Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau, which you should go and check out for yourself, because it's the equivalent to Hearts of Darkness. In fact, it's even more intense than Hearts of Darkness is. And Hearts of Darkness is an intense documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now. This somehow took it even more to another level, but like I said, I could delve more into this, but we've got a lot of things to get to, but you really could tell that this movie was going to be bad right from the get-go, and that commercial really shows an example of how badly they really did not market this movie well, which is surprising because the actual trailers actually made it look kind of interesting. It looked kind of cool, but wow, that commercial looked terrible, and let that be the catalyst for what you're about to see with this film. I mean, it pretty much delivers everything that was wrong with the film. It was filled with a lot of production problems. Everybody on the set hated each other. Their story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The writing overall is not that great. The sequences with the animals is not really all that intriguing. It really has no idea what the hell it wants to accomplish with this. And there was just really no way that this movie could be saved afterward. And you could definitely see on screen why that was. This was just a mess. This is a film that's just a mess on so many levels. Watch the documentary if you want to get a better experience than this, but avoid this movie like The Plague, man. It's a disgusting, disgusting film. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is a very Brady sequel.
Almost over. School's about to begin.
At the Flower Church, we're going to Hawaii.
Before it's too late, take a Brady break.
I'll go first because I'm the prettiest.
Oh, Alice. Are you the skinny decaf mochaccino? Hey, who you calling skinny? Paramount Pictures presents...
I'll make up an imaginary boyfriend.
A very Brady sequel.
I'm so happy for you, Jan. Really, Marcia? No.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, August 23rd.
On a much more positive note than Dr. Moreau, I remember thinking that this movie wasn't going to be anything nearly as good as the first film. I mean, the first Brady Bunch movie was a nice little surprise, but I recently checked the movie out a couple years ago, having not seen it for a number of years, and I gotta say, man, I actually found myself enjoying this a little bit more than the first movie, and I really liked the first film, but I found this a lot funnier than I expected it to be. I thought the satirical comedy actually worked a whole lot better this time around. It worked well in the first movie, but here I think they took it to another level, and I think it made it a whole lot funnier than you would have expected it to. The premise overall isn't really that interesting or surprising. It kind of goes with the formulaic route, but these performances still carry it through all the way. Like Gary Cole and Shelley Long are just perfectly cast as Mike and Carol Brady. You bring in Tim Matheson for a very good role in this. The subplots with the Brady kids are surprisingly really well done too. I mean, I was really surprised at how much I got a lot more out of this movie. It's one of the big surprises. Like, I think it's definitely a much more funnier, a much more enjoyable sequel than the already funny and enjoyable first film. I think it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen this movie in a long time and you'd like the first Brady Bunch movie, definitely give this one another shot. I think it's a lot better than I think people give it credit for. I highly recommend it. A very Brady sequel. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next movie, and that is Mario Van Peebles in Solo.
Pick a face. Like Mike. You got good taste. Log on. He's equipped with motion sensors and night vision. Zoom in. It's about 15 times stronger than any man. Prepare to go. What was that? Solo. As polymer structure makes him virtually immune to small arms fire. The summer isn't over till he says it is. Solo. Rated PG-13. Delete this. At theaters Friday.
So after Mario Van Peebles had directed Panther, he was looking for a project that would provide him a more complex character to play, and felt Solo was, with its depictions of indigenous people under the threat of superior technology, provided opportunity to do so. And clearly wasn't the case, because man, that did not look good at all. And the movie doesn't look any better either, despite the fact you've got Van Peebles, you've got William Sadler, you got Adrian Brody, you got Demian Bichar. You have a really good cast here, and a good idea too, but it's your typical action movie fluff. It's not really all that engaging or that exciting. The performances are not very good. The action sequences overall are not that interesting at all either. It's just a waste of time on so many levels. And Mario Van Peebles does not usually make a whole lot of really bad career choices. This was one of his biggest ones, really. I mean, it's a film that's just a sloppy mess on so many levels. There could have been something more interesting and more intriguing in this, but it just doesn't show up here. It's a film that's really lackluster, and it definitely shows you right away in that commercial alone why it didn't work. It's a mess. It's no wonder why they just dumped this in late August, when the summer movie season was coming to an end and nobody really wanted to see any of these newer movies, because 9 times out of 10, most of these movies did not really seem appealing to them, and this trailer pretty much shows you why Solo was not one of those films. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our next film, and that is Edward Burns' She's the One.
I'm married now.
The story of a family.
You're having sex with my head. No. My head.
Where men are men.
He's trying to turn our entire lives into a competition. All right, no punching below the belt, no kicking, and Francis, no biting.
Women are women.
I'm in love with someone else.
Who is he?
Enough with that.
And love is a complete mystery.
Let me get this straight. You don't want to cheat on your girlfriend with your wife?
Jennifer Aniston, Maxine Bonds, Edward Burns, Cameron Diaz, John Mahoney, Mike McGlone. She's the one.
You know what, Nick? If you never met and got involved with Heather, where would we be now?
It's an interesting theory. I hope you didn't hurt yourself coming up with that one, also.
So this is Edward Burns' follow-up to The Brothers Macmillan, and maybe it wasn't as good as The Brothers Macmillan was, but it still had some moments in there that I thought really worked. I thought it was still a very enjoyable film overall. I didn't hate it, but it definitely felt like a step down compared to his previous work. I mean, you got a really good cast here. It includes Burns himself. You got Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Aniston, John Mahoney. I think John Mahoney really is the strongest part of this movie. Leslie Mann's also in here. Amanda Peet, Frank Vincent. It's got a good cast overall. It's got some good ideas to it. I don't think it really did anything too significant to make it stand out on its own. Nothing bad about the film. It's just that it wasn't really up to par compared to what Burns had done the previous year before with The Brothers Macmillan, and that was a more enjoyable film. This film is, I would say, it's just okay. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too spectacular. It does have its funny moments here and there, but it doesn't really do anything to make it stand out on its own. It's a film that's just kind of like, it's good, but we expect a whole lot better from you after what you did with your previous film. But like I said, it isn't a terrible film at all. I just think it could have been a whole lot better, especially considering what he'd done before then. But other than that, not a bad film. Definitely could have been a whole lot better, though. So she's the one. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next film, and that is Carpool.
All you have to do is drive him to school.
Dad got stuck with the carpool. We stopped for a snack. Made a new friend. Discovered a cool shortcut.
We are driving through a mall.
And had the wildest ride ever.
Carpool.
You are great!
Yeah, well, you know, I watch a lot of action movies.
Rated PG. Plus, an all-new cartoon short from Chuck Jones, Superior Duck, rated G, only with Carpool. Starts Friday, August 23rd.
It's probably the best Tom Arnold film that he made in 1996, but then again, that really isn't saying a whole lot, because this movie really isn't all that great. It's a mostly bland, forgettable comedy. Like, I watched this when I was a kid growing up, and the only thing I really remember from it was how hot Rachel Lee Cook was as a teenager. I mean, granted, I was 7 years old at the time, but I mean, they did a pretty good job of making her look attractive in this movie. But other than that, though, the jokes are pretty bland and forgettable. The comedy really isn't all that strong. I remember renting this movie several times back when we had a video store around here, but I haven't really seen it in nearly 20 years, so I can't remember if it's... I really doubt it's any good or not. And that Superior Duck short that they talked about in here, I actually really like that short. I know it gets kind of a bad rap from most people, but I thought it was honestly the best thing to come out of the movie here. It's still very funny. It's classic Looney Tunes. It's Chuck Jones animation. I mean, it's got a lot of good funny moments in it. And I mean, it's not the best of those shorts that were coming out in front of these Warner Brothers movies, but I'd gladly take it over the actual movie itself. Like, this is one of those movies where I kind of would have been just like, I'll go just to see the short and then just say, hey, I gotta go. Can I get my money back from the movie theater and just leave? I mean, that really is what I would have done, honestly. I mean, but, yeah, not much more on that front. Carpool, pretty forgettable film, regardless. So, with that said, let's move on to the next movie, and that is The Spitfire Grill.
In the shadows.
We don't know the first thing about this girl.
A life at the crossroads.
That first night when you come into town, I had this feeling that something really good was going to happen.
An adventure of the heart.
She went to prison for manslaughter.
It's not like that. Shut up!
Castle Rock invites you to the most unexpected movie experience of the year.
I thought in some place small like this, there might just be a chance.
The Spitfire Grill. Rated PG-13. Exclusive now, AMC Century 14.
So basically, you have a story about a woman who was just released from prison and goes to work at this cafe that's called the Spitfire Grill. I really literally know nothing else about the film, except that it has, it's directed by the guy that created MacGyver. It's the only movie I know that he's ever directed. Ellen Burstyn's in it. Marcia Gay Harden is in it. I wish I had some more for you, but really, I know nothing about this movie. Apparently, it was turned into an off-Broadway musical a couple years later, so it did have some kind of an impact on the entertainment industry for somebody that want to go ahead and do that. But I literally know nothing about this movie. I've never seen it before. I can't really say if it's good or not. Judging by the reviews I see for it, it's a very polarizing film. It got strong word of mouth at the Sundance Film Festival that year, but when the movie actually came out, it was very much less favorable, which is usually what you get when it comes to Sundance films. Sometimes they can be real gems all the way through, but then sometimes people like it there, but when the general public goes to see it, it's not that good of a film to begin when it's all said and done. I wish I had some more for you, but that's pretty much all I got for you on that one. So that's The Spitfire Grill. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next film, Angelina Jolie in Foxfire.
Are you Madeline Wirtz?
Yes.
You were wanted in the principal's office.
What are you, some kind of freak? What is the matter with you?
You want me to stay home with her?
She's 17. She's old enough to take care of herself.
You don't count, Violet. You do it with everyone.
Well, at least I know what I'm doing. She didn't have any friends.
What is it, Rita?
I can't do it. She's crazy. Everyone knows that.
Young man, stop when I'm talking to you. Hey, I'm talking to you.
How are you going to go here? Who is she anyway? So where do you go to school?
I was thrown out.
For what? For thinking for myself.
Oh! I'm afraid of heights. I scare you. No!
If he puts his hands on her,
You should tell yourself he's putting his hands all over you.
This is outrageous! I'm a teacher!
All I know about this film is that Angelina Jolie is in it, and so is Jenny Lewis and Kathy Moriarty. I've never seen it before. You basically get the idea that it's a coming-of-age story with these 4 high school girls to meet up. They meet up with this mysterious and beautiful drifter, and that's really all I know about it. I've never seen this movie before. I've seen the box for this on DVD several times with Angelina Jolie on the front, but other than that, I literally know nothing about this movie. I don't know if it's any good or not. It's got a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that could probably mean something right there, but I don't know. I can't really say if it's good or not, but it's a movie that came out this weekend, so that's really all I got for you on that one. So that's Foxfire. Let's go to the last film. The last film that we have here, Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland in Freeway.
Why bring off all them strange guys for money?
I make her use mouthwash after.
Oh, you like that minty fresh taste, huh?
Sheriff's Department, you're under arrest.
Totally fucked. Just after you left, the pigs came and pinched Mom and Larry both. And my parole officer showed up like a motherfucking plague to take me off to foster care again. It's like last time. So, what'd I call you?
I'm sorry, my name is Bob Logan.
You the guy that's been killing all them girls on the freeway, Bob?
Also from the director that made Gary Oldman is a dwarf in Tiptoes. Matthew Bright is that director. Kiefer Sutherland, Reese Witherspoon, Brooke Shields in it. It's a dark twist on the story of Little Red Riding Hood. This is another one I used to see a lot when I go to CD Warehouse. There's usually a DVD of this somewhere. I've never really had the opportunity to really watch it, but the idea of doing something kind of like a dark take on Little Red Riding Hood on this could actually be pretty interesting and pretty intriguing. You got Sutherland, Witherspoon, Shields, Dan Hedaya is also in here, Amanda Plummer, Bokeem Woodbine. It's produced by Oliver Stone. I mean, there's definitely pieces there that could make this movie work. It's got some pretty good reviews, too, so unfortunately, I haven't seen it, so I can't really say if it's actually that good or not, but the trailer definitely showed a lot of promise to it, honestly. When I watched the whole thing, it looked like it could have been a pretty cool-looking film, but until I actually see it, that's really all I could say about it. So, Freeway, that's the last film on the list here.
People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes, the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right. I thought that Eric was the last. I never imagined there would be another.
It's another time. It's another world. And another has been chosen.
So, of course, The First Crow was a big success when it came out in 1994, and it was mostly in part because of what happened to Brandon Lee on that film. It was, of course, the film he got shot on and killed, and luckily that film turned out to be a pretty good success because of what Alex Proyas brought to the table with it. So, naturally, Miramax was going to make a sequel to this, and I know it's going to be really tough to do, but goddamn, you could have tried much better than this movie. I mean, good lord. What a major step down this movie is. I mean, there's so much potential that could be done with this. Okay, you don't have Brandon Lee anymore, but you know what? You could have gotten other actors to play him in this movie compared to this guy, Vincent Perez, which I'll give it to him. He's trying his best here, but he is no Brandon Lee, and he also was in Queen of the Damned. There's actually not a whole lot of big names in this movie, honestly, compared to the first movie. I mean, I think the biggest name in here is Iggy Pop, and even then, there's also Mia Kirshner from The L Word, and we talked about her in, now I can't remember the name of the movie here, just let me see for a sec. Exotica, that's what it was. Thomas Jane is in here, Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven is in here, but there's no big names here, and there's no real story about this movie. It just feels like they made a sequel because they were contractually obligated to make a sequel after the first film became such a huge success, and this is the end of result of that, and people went to go see it. It's actually it held the record for the best Labor Day weekend opening for of all time up until Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2 had it in 2001, 2003. It's hard to believe that $9 million was the highest opening weekend for a movie on Labor Day weekend at that point, considering what over 25 years later, Shang-Chi made almost $100 million on that weekend alone. But then again, that's a Marvel Studios film. You had the COVID pandemic pushing films back, and so that kind of made sense. That had a big weekend, but that's neither here or there. We're talking about this movie here, and it doesn't capture the same spirit as the original film. It just feels like it feels pretty much like it's a bad sequel to a really good film. Like we've seen so many of these on this show, and we've talked about them in the years that we've been covering the show. We've talked about the bad Hellraiser sequels. We've talked about the bad Candyman sequels. We've talked about the bad Halloween sequels, and you're just never going to really be able to top the original film unless you could do something new and creative with it, and this movie just really does not. It's a really huge step down compared to the first film, and I'm willing to bet that this movie really had nothing to do with The Crow before that movie came out. This felt like a script that was in production for several years, and they said, hey, we need a sequel to The Crow, so we'll just slap the name of The Crow on here and just rework it around this character, and the movie just doesn't work. It's a failure on so many levels. It's a huge miscalculation, and let's be honest, the first Crow was a movie that it's going to be really hard to top, and it tells you that this is the only theatrical sequel that we've gotten so far from the Crow series since then, because all the other ones went straight to DVD, which is never a good sign for a series that was hopefully to start a new franchise. But yeah, just watch the original Crow, man. That's really all you need to see with this film. So that is The Crow City of Angels. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next film, which is Sinbad in the comedy First Kid.
Secret Service agent Sam Sims has a style all his own.
Sims, what is that? This is a black tie affair.
I know, sir, and I got it covered. I'm black, and I'm wearing a tie.
But now, he's facing his most dangerous assignment, protecting himself from the president's son.
Definitely the most powerful kid in the universe.
He's just a kid. How bad can it be?
So, you like snakes?
Oh, it's Batman!
Guarding America's first kid
Unlock the door.
can be the world's worst job.
How many times has Mr. Sims been left back?
But being the first kid
The school dance is Friday. Do you want to come?
is even tougher.
Oh, do you think you're better than everyone?
I can't allow you off the grounds.
What are you doing down here?
I don't have any friends.
You can't keep that kid locked up in his room.
Can't dance.
Madeline?
I said I can't dance.
I'm 00 Sims. I know how to get us out of here.
We got a perimeter breach.
Are you crazy? I ain't doing nothing, but looks good.
Walt Disney Pictures presents Sinbad, sworn to protect, sworn to serve,
A little pelvic thrust. Try this. See it? Oh, they like that. They like that.
sworn to be wild.
I'm a Secret Service agent. I'm not playing. Look out! There it is. You're a dancing fool, man.
Oh. Sims, you were supposed to catch me.
First Kid.
Directed by the same guy that did The Sandlot, which was a far superior film. Actually, this was the last theatrical release that this guy did before he went straight to direct-to-video movies. He did stuff like Beethoven's Third. He did The Sandlot sequel, The Sandlot 2. Ace Ventura Jr., Pet Detective, which that pretty much should tell you everything you need to know about these movies, about the movies that this guy's made since then. But, this movie is actually not that bad. Is it a good movie? I won't go that far. It definitely is very formulaic. It definitely is very generic. It is very much a by-the-numbers movie of this type, but like I said before, it's not the worst thing ever, and it does have some good funny moments here, and I think Sinbad does a pretty good job carrying the movie on its own. If the movie had been a little bit more clever, a little bit more unique in the script writing process, maybe you could have had something incredible here, but for what it is, it's perfectly salvageable for what it is. I expected a whole lot worse watching this movie again, and I didn't get that. It was a movie that was actually kind of decent. There was a couple moments that did make me laugh. I thought Sinbad did a pretty good job doing what he had to do here. It's not the worst thing ever. that's probably not the best compliment to give to this, but it could have been a whole lot worse compared to some of these other movies that were coming out at the time. I actually got some decent laughs out of it. I thought it was alright. Wouldn't be one I'd watch over and over again, but I'm glad I saw it again. I'm glad I actually got some enjoyment out of it. So, some notable things about it. Bill Clinton's actually in a cameo with this when he was still president. Sonny Bono, this turned out to be his last on-screen appearance before his death in '98. Because, of course, he was serving in the House of Representatives. You got a cast that also includes Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement, Tim Busfield, Robert Guillaume, Lisa Eichenhorn, James Naughton. It's got a good cast to it. And like I said, not a bad film. Definitely could have been a whole lot better, but certainly could have been a whole lot worse, too. So, that's First Kid. Let's move on to the next movie, and that is The Trigger Effect.
Pictures and Amblin Entertainment.
I heard all this stuff about looting and shootings last night.
When the lights go out,
The important thing is that we all stick together.
the world you think you know
No, man, you don't know me, and I don't know you.
stops.
My friend is gonna die.
The Trigger Effect.
No!
One of the most realistically frightening movies you'll ever see. Kyle MacLachlan, Elizabeth Shue, Dermot Mulroney. The Trigger Effect. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 30th.
David Koepp, of course, the legendary screenwriter of such films as Schindler's List, Searching for Bobby Fischer. He's written a lot of great scripts over his career. He's directed some pretty good movies, too. Like, after this, he did Stir of Echoes. He did a very good underrated film, Ghost Town, with Ricky Gervais and Greg Kinnear in 2008, as well as Premium Rush with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Both really good films. Overall, his directing career has been pretty good. This movie kind of starts off okay, but then it just kind of falls flat near the end when it matters the most. This is the film that is largely inspired by the Twilight Zone episode, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, which coincidentally actually starred the uncle of David Koepp, Claude Akins. And it was also inspired by this documentary series called Connections. You have the story where, you see it in the trailer, there's a widespread and lengthy power outage in Southern California, and everybody kind of goes nuts. And it's a very interesting movie. That could have been very good if they had stuck the landing, but this ending kind of kind of goes where you kind of expect it to, in a really lackluster way. It's a mediocre script that's not really the best overall. I think the high concept premise alone gets kind of overshadowed by the mediocre performances from Kyle MacLachlan, Elizabeth Shue, and Dermot Mulroney. Three actors who have proven their worth over time, but they really don't get a whole lot to do here. The plot itself gets overshadowed by a cliched riddle script. You can predict pretty much everything that's going to happen. And it's a good idea, though. Just like imagine that terrible series Revolution, except only 16 years prior to this. But watching the film again, I was just kind of like, I thought it was alright. I think it is just okay. It does have its moments where the suspense and the excitement are there, but they're very few and far between. It's a shame because there certainly is a whole lot here that really would have made for an incredible film, but as it is, it's just passable. Like I said, it's better than something like Revolution, which is a terrible, terrible show, but it has the right idea. It just doesn't stick the landing when it needed to the most, and that's really the biggest flaw of the film right there. So that's The Trigger Effect. That's going to lead us into our last movie here, and we've looked at a couple of bad Tom Arnold movies in 1996, Big Bully and Carpool, but nothing compares to this movie here. Let's take a look at the worst of the worst, and that is The Stupids.
You came from an unusual family. Well, after you meet my guest today, you may want to adjust your standards.
I married a Siamese twin and had an affair with her sister.
I've been engaged to 3 of my cousins.
I'm my own grandpa.
You're your own grandpa?
It's quite simple, really. Many, many years ago when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her and soon they two were wed. My father's wife then had a son who kept him on the run. And he became my grandchild cause he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother and it makes me blue. Because although she is my wife, she's my grandmother too.
This has got to be the strangest thing I ever saw.
As husband of my grandmother, I am my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Everybody! I'm my own grandpa. It's so funny, I know, but it really is so. Hey! I'm my own grandpa.
Oh my god, that was an about abortion. I hope you enjoyed that, folks, because that is the majority of the jokes for the next hour and a half of this movie. This is a terrible movie. This is unbelievably bad. This is based off of a series of books I know nothing about. I just remember watching this movie when I was little. We rented it from the video store, and it did not leave an impact on me whatsoever in a good way. It left an impact on me in a very, very bad way because it was a horrible, horrible excuse of a movie. This is one of the most unfunniest things you will ever see. It is so devoid of the humor. That trailer alone should set you up for everything that is wrong with this movie. It is so unbelievably bad. And it's not for the lack of a bad idea. There are some good ideas here. There's a really funny concept that you could do with this. I mean, but again, we talked about it before. Beavis and Butthead Do America, I think, did this kind of idea better, where your main character are very stupid, but they play a part in a bigger story that they don't know about, and it led to a whole lot of much funnier material than what we get in this movie here. Like, the jokes in this movie are not funny. The music overall feels like you're watching something on the Disney Channel, in a Disney Channel original movie or a Nickelodeon movie. It's that bad. They have a CGI dog for some reason, which, I'm not gonna lie, was pretty interesting to see at the time, but watching it again, it's just like, why is the dog CGI? Why is this dog, maybe not CGI, but stop motion, but like, it's weird. It's a weird thing they have going there. The humor here could be really good, but it's amazing how much talent is on board with this movie, because not only do you have Tom Arnold, who, say what you will about his movies, Tom Arnold has been proven to be a decent, funny guy if you give him the good material to work with. True Lies, the original movie, is a great example of that. But not only him, but Christopher Lee is in here. Actually, Christopher Lee may be the best thing about the movie, because he's actually trying to give something to this. But the director of this is John Landis. And John Landis, if you thought Beverly Hills Cop 3 would be the worst thing you'd ever be attached to, actually, I'd probably say that is still the worst movie no, I take that back. This is the worst thing he's ever been attached to. I mean, like, this is a low for him. Brent Forrester, by the way, is the writer of this. And guess what he wrote? Guess what he's written for? He wrote during the peak years of The Simpsons. He's written for The Ben Stiller Show. He wrote for Mr. Show with Bob and David. He wrote on Declared. He wrote Super Fun Night. He wrote The Office. Worked on King of the Hill. Worked on Space Force. Worked on The Office. And it's just like, how do these people with so much talent get suckered into this? Like, it's amazing how they thought this was going to be the next big thing, and it just was not on any level, shape, or form. That scene alone should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about what kind of a bad movie experience you're about to go into with this. Like, it's unbelievable how bad this movie is. It's an amazing achievement in lackluster laziness, just unfunny material overall, and pointless cameos. Like, there's cameos all over the place in this movie, not just from Jenny McCarthy was one of the big ones, Rolando Watts, who was a big talk show host at the time, Adam McGoyan, a famous director, Norman Jewison, Robert Wise, David Cronenberg, Costa Garvis, Gorinda Chadha, Mick Garris, Harvey Atkin. Like I said, Christopher Lee is in here. You got Frankie Faison, Bug Hall from The Little Rascals, Bob Keeshan, Captain Kangaroo, Max Landis himself has a cameo in here, which makes sense because his dad directed this movie. But the talent that's in this movie, and the fact that they thought they had something great to have these people come in here, it's amazing how low this movie sunk. Like, this is definitely one of the lows of comedy, really, when you look at this film overall. It's just, I really don't have anything else to say about this movie. If you saw this movie back then like I did, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a film that's not funny. It's not creative at all. It takes an idea that in the right hands could work, but not the way they present it here. Like, it's like New Line wanted to create the kiddie version of Dumb and Dumber, except Dumb and Dumber was a lot smarter than I think a lot of people give it credit for. And this is not. This is the movie that I think everybody was expecting Dumb and Dumber to be like. And what more do I have to say? It's a huge, massive failure on so many levels, and I've got nothing else for you. That's The Stupids literally is stupid. That's the best way to describe this film.